Hi everyone and welcome to this video. In this video we are going to see how to send our PCB design to manufacture on JLCPCB, and we are going to focus on two things. One of them in SMT PCB and the second one a good and a great tool. I am talking about the stencil. This stencil will help when we need to solder the SMT components. So let's get started. Okay, so before we send our PCB at JLCPCB, let's see the PCB we are going to send. We can see this is a small PCB, but it contains SMT PCB. We have here a motor drive, the L293D. We have also resistor SMT and diode LED SMT. Okay, so let me show you just the board without the 3D components. So let me hide all of them. Okay, so here we have the PCB that we are going to send, and we have to obtain the same result. So we have many information here. For example, we have the top layer and also the bottom layer, two layers. Here we have information like the position of the components, dimension of the PCB, the tracks, path, bias, silkscreen, etc. Okay, so we need to send all this information, and for that we have to generate Gerber files. The Gerber file will contain all this information. Another thing that we have to know is that for soldering the SMT components, there are many ways, and one of them is using the stencil. So we will use the stencil to solder SMT components. And what is the stencil? A stencil is a metal surface that will cover all the PCB except the path. So the stencil will contain holes, and these holes will be our path, our footprints of the components that we have here, but just SMT components in the same position. So after we cover all the PCB except the footprints, the SMT footprints, we are able to cover the path with solder paste. After we have that, just we take the stencil and we are able to solder easily the SMT components. So we are going to order not just the PCB, we are also order the stencil, the metal stencil. But you have to know that if you have any PCB with SMT components, also you can just order the stencil. It's not necessary to order all of them. You can order the PCB, and also if you need a stencil, you can order the PCB and a stencil. Okay, so now let's go to JLCPCB website. Okay, so we are here on JLCPCB website, and before we send our files, we need to register and create an account. So in this account, we will save all our information, and also we will be able to see the process of our PCB manufacture. And this is totally free. So after we create an account, there are many ways to send our files. One of them is over here on Calculate, and the other one is over here on Quit Now. Both of them will work perfectly. So in this case, I will click here on Calculate. Okay, so now we need to add our Gerber files. But before we do that, let's see that we have here the PCB option and over here the SMT stencil. So the first one, we can order PCBs, and also we can order PCB and stencil, but in the first one we are not able to order just the stencil. So for that we have the second one. In the second one, just we order the stencil, not PCB, just and only stencil. And also we have to add our Gerber files, but they will not manufacture the PCB, just the stencil. Okay, so in this case we need to order the PCB and also the stencil. So we have to add our Gerber file, so just click. I have my Gerber files here. Let's wait until it completes. Okay, so we have here a preview of our PCB and it's exactly like we designed. So a good thing is that they auto-detect the 2 layers and also the dimension of our PCB. Over here we have another nice option, the Gerber viewer, and I recommend to use. Just click and they will see with more details our PCB that we are ordering. So we are able to see the top, the bottom, all the details that we have to check. And one detail is that here the holes are white color. And if we come back to this page, we have the holes with black color. Don't worry for that, it's totally normal and correct. So it's just about colors. So after we finish to check that the PCB is like we designed, just close and let's continue. We can open the Gerber viewer anytime we need. Okay, so over here we have more options, just all of them about the PCB. So beside any option we have a question mark. If we click, we will have more extra information. So here on layer, they auto-detect 2 layers. On dimension, again they auto-detect our dimension. So both these options are really okay. Next we have PCB quantity. In this case we can choose from 5 to 8000. Let's click 5. The next one is PCB thickness. So we have many values, but the 1.6 is the standard value that we are going to choose. On PCB color we have 6 colors. I will choose green like we designed. Also we have the surface finish option, and we have 3 ways to do that. The cheapest one is the first one and also the most common one. The second is similar to the first one. The last one, the ENIG option, is a surface finish with immersion goggles. So also we have to consider that this will increase the price. So the first one is really okay, and actually my PCB doesn't need so much details. The other option is copper weight. One is really okay for this PCB. The next option is gold fingers, and we have to consider something, that if we want to choose this option, first we have to activate this surface finish. This surface finish, the ENIG, works with this option. So if in gold fingers we click yes for any of these options, and we didn't choose here the ENIG option, this will not work. In this case, we will not activate this option. The next one, material details, we will work with the standard one, and actually is the only option. Panel by PCB, we will click no, but if you click yes, you will order a matrix of your PCB. We have an example. We will have a copies in a vertical and an horizontal way of our PCB. In this case, it's not necessary. Different design, this work also with panel by PCB, and we will have, of course, a matrix an array of our PCB, but just for example with one design, two design, three design. So again, we will not work with that. Okay, so we already complete all the auction for our PCB. So now we have here another nice auction, and this is laser stencil. Because we have SMT components in our PCB and we need to solder them. So a really nice tool to help when we are going to solder this component is the stencil. So to add the stencil to our PCB order, just let's click here. Okay, so we have a dimension. So not framework, we have only this side. Framework, we have many sizes, but we have to consider also the price. Okay, so in this case, this is more than enough. Stencil quantity, just one. The next option, electropolishing, we will click on no. Really, this stencil doesn't need so much details. Fiducial, this mark we are not going to use. Customize the size. If we click yes, we are going to now resize our stencil, but we don't need to do that. So after we finish all of them, if we go up, we have here the shares details. So the stencil price, and of course the special offer for our PCB, just $2. If we don't consider the stencil, just it will cost $2. So to continue, let's click here, save to cart. Okay, so now we are able to see our PCB order and also our stencil order. The price of PCB, just $2. The stencil, $7. Okay, so to continue and to pay our order, we need to click here and check out securely. So just click, and now we have a total price. Because they will send our order box, we have to pay this shipping. And also we need to give an extra information about where we live, the country, phone number, street, etc. After that, we have a shipping method. So we are going to choose the DHL Express. And we have also payment method. So we have two ways to do that: by credit card and by PayPal. In this case, I will choose PayPal because I have a PayPal account. So now just we need to click on pay, and we will pay the total cost on PayPal. After we pay, they will start with the PCB manufacturer order, and we will receive in our house, in our hands. So let's see. Okay, so after we order our PCBs, so we are able to see the process. So in our account, just let's click here in the account auction. Okay, now we are able to see all the PCBs we order. We have here our PCB, SMT PCB, and also the stencil. We have the option to see the process. Just click and we see all the things they do. So we are ready to receive this PCB. And ta-da! We finally receive our PCB and stencil order, and they come together. So let's open it. This box contains the PCB. We can see a JLCPCB logo. Let's open it. So here we have a pencil, a JLCPCB pencil, and also we have, of course, the PCB. So let's close, and we can see that it has a plastic protection, and here we have the PCBs that also has a plastic protection. I already opened because I wanted to show. And here we have this really so much beautiful and high quality PCB. Okay, so now it's time to see the stencil. So I will save them. Over here. Okay, so the stencil comes in this bigger box. So let's open. Inside we have this little table, and here we have the stencil. So we are able to see that we have really a nice stencil. We have, of course, the size. I am not sure if you are able to see that we said, and also we have the S&D footprint holes. So this is the stencil that we are going to use for our PCB design. Okay, so now let's continue with some other details. Okay, so let's see some other details of our PCB that we ordered, and let's focus on the PCB first. So we have really a high quality PCB. We have here the top layer and over here the bottom layer. So both of them have a really nice ground plane. We have a logo and all the text. The seal screen has really nice definition. We can read so clear. So the pad that we have here, the SND pad, we have for the motor driver, for the resistor and the diode LED. All of them are really so clear, and also the seal screen, the white lines over here that define the position of our component. So all of them are really great. So let's see now the bottom layer. Here we have again the ground plane, the tracks. We can see also the vias that connect the top layer with the bottom layer. So all of them look really great. So now let's see the stencil. Okay, now let's see the stencil, the metal stencil. We have this stencil that we ordered, and over here we have a footprint of our motor drive, the resistor and the diode LED. We have holes and we have to work with our PCB. So how the stencil will work? Actually, we have first to fix our PCB in some base, and then we have to put this exactly in the same place of the footprint, SND footprint. So after we do that, for example like that, we cover this with solder pads. So after we cover, and when we take out this stencil, we are ready to put the SND components. This is how the stencil works. It's really a great useful tool when we need to solder SND components. Okay, so I wanted to show how to order a stencil and also PCB together on JLCPCB and how this works. So I invite you to subscribe to this channel if you didn't do yet, and of course you can leave questions and opinions in the comment section. Thank you so much and see you in the next tutorial.